I'm Tim O'Driscoll, for anybody I don't know, with Intel. I'm the chair of the DPDK Governing Board. So I'm just going to do a couple of opening remarks, and then we're going to start the actual presentations. So just the very boring stuff at the start. So logistics, I think obviously everybody found the location, so we don't need to go over that. The breaks are just right outside here. Lunch is in the restaurant, which is just over in that direction. So everything should be pretty straightforward to find. The back of the badge has a QR code, which will give you the schedule. People have probably seen the schedule anyway, but if you want to check it, QR code on the back of the badge. And there's a Wi-Fi access code, Wi-Fi password on there as well. One thing for people to remember, we have a reception planned for tonight, so it's from 6 o'clock onwards. The location is there. Apparently it's about a 15 minute walk. So I guess we'll meet in the lobby about 5:45. Plan to start there from 6 o'clock. Bridget and Evie were giving out drinks vouchers as people registered, so don't forget to bring those along. And hopefully everybody can make it this evening. And you'll have met one or both of the ladies already, but our two event organizers are Bridget, who's at the back there, and Evie, who is probably outside at the desk. Any questions about anything during the event, any logistical issues, anything like that, either of those people are the person to go to. Okay, so that's the kind of logistical side. One thing that Bridget and Evie did yesterday is they went shopping and they bought a few little prizes. So we're going to do a few quiz questions and see who's awake. So I thought about what types of questions to ask. There's two sections. The first section is on DPDK summits. So I guess this is checking who's been attending over the years, who's been paying attention when they have been attending. So shout out if you know the answer. And Nathan is going to run around and give out a prize to anybody who gets it right. So first question then, what year was this? This is testing people's memory. No. 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 Somewhere between you and Shobi. Yes. So this was the first time we did a DPDK summit in Dublin. So a bonus question, and this is for non-Intel people, because Intel people will have worked with this person. So non-Intel people and not former Intel people either. Who was the baker? Who was the DPDK baker? Does anybody know? Siobhan. Well done. Just right behind you there. Okay. Next question. Where is this? San Jose. Who said that? I didn't see who it was. There we go. It's the Tech Museum in San Jose. We were there in 2016. And the last question on DPDK summits. Where haven't we had a summit? Beijing. No, there was one in Beijing. Bangkok. No, we've been in Bangkok. Paris. Who said Paris? There we go. Well done. But maybe that should be next.
I was going to say yeah.
Okay. So a little bit just on project governance. So first of all, these are all the project sponsors. That's been a very stable set of companies since we set up the project under the Linux Foundation back in 2017. There have been one or two added. We haven't really had any companies drop out of the picture. So these are the people who pay the bills for events like this. So it's always good to know who the project sponsors are and to recognize the contribution that they make to funding the project. In terms of governance, we have a governing board. You can see there the kinds of items that the governing board takes care of. So it's marketing, it's the lab resources, strategy, budget, any legal issues. That's mostly licensing type issues, things like that. We have a technical board who do all the techie stuff. So any technical issues, set the technical direction, approve any new projects. And then there's a couple of smaller kind of subgroups that focus more on marketing, finance, and the community lab. So that's the overall governance structure. In terms of the governing board, we have a few of them here today. So off the top of my head, Ian, who's the vice chair, is just here. Kisang, who's the treasurer, so he's the man with all the money, is over there. Nicholas is around somewhere as well. Okay, over in there. And Nathan, who's our Linux Foundation project manager. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Oh, yes, where is Wayne? Yes, there we go. Is Prasoon here? Okay, he wasn't at the dinner last night, that's all I know. So, okay, but maybe he'll make it at some stage during the day. So we have a good attendance. Tech board, probably familiar to most people, so we probably don't need to go through who's who. Any technical discussions, track down one of these guys and take the opportunity of being here in person to talk through with them in person. Okay, and then on the budget side, so this is just a very high-level summary slide. It's actually from a month or two back, but it's probably still fairly up to date, and Kisan can correct us if there are any significant changes. Just a couple of things to note on this. I mean, first of all, on the left-hand side, you'll see total budget at 714,000 and total revenue at 575. So that means we're spending more than we're taking in. Now, the project has quite a significant budget surplus that was built up largely during the COVID years. So a lot of the budget goes on summit events. Obviously, during COVID years, we couldn't have those, so that money was banked. So there's a little bit of a surplus there, which is always a good position to be in. So that's what's funding the deficit there. Obviously, long term, we need to balance that out and need to operate on a sustainable basis. But for now, the fact that we're overspending this year isn't an issue at all. In terms of the types of things that we're spending money on, so just to go through the different categories, because when you see the total numbers, the aggregate numbers there, they always look big. But then when you look at what's in them, they actually cover quite a lot of different things. So community engagement and marketing, the biggest element of that cost is the summit events like this. So we have this one here, and we have another one in Santa Clara in September. Those costs are all in that blue bucket. The other thing that's included in there, and he's not here today, is Ben Thomas, who's our LF marketing person, who helps with promoting the project, keeping DPDK in the news as much as possible. So that's the community engagement and marketing category. Development and community support, again, that sounds like a big number when you see it there. That's largely running the lab in UNH. So a big proportion of that is the lab expenses. The other thing that's in there is, at the moment, we have a tech writer working on improving the documentation. She's been doing that for a while now. So the tech writer costs are in there as well. So staff, travel and board includes a couple of things. It includes the Linux Foundation staff that we have working on the project, so some of Nathan's costs. It also includes project funding for governing board and tech board and some other project members to travel to events like this. So that's what's there. G&A is just basically the cost of being a project under the Linux Foundation. So that's the annual cost that we pay for, basically for Linux Foundation membership. It's a percentage of the overall project budget. And legal, it's there in case we ever need to do something in that area. We haven't needed to so far, so it's zero cost at the moment. Okay, so that's the kind of governance structure. I'm going to do a couple more quiz questions. I think we have 2 more prizes left, but I have 3 questions, so I'm going to ask the questions anyway, and we'll see. So, again, test if everybody's awake. What's this, and where is it? It's what? It's in the, but what is it? It's an astronomical clock, yeah, in the Old Town Centre. So I think that's a tie. Answered half the question each. Okay. Just over here. Okay. We'll do that one. It's an appropriate prize for this particular question. Okay. So next one, everybody will know what this is, but what year was it completed? Does anybody know the exact year? Or anybody want to take a guess? We'll go with someone who can get close. Earlier than that? A little bit later than that. Hmm? No. What number did you say? Earlier than later than, I didn't hear you said 1488 is earlier than that. 1452. A little bit earlier than that.
1410.
That's close enough. So it's actually 1402, so you can hang on to that. And last one, a little bit more cryptic. What's this building known as? Yes. Very good. I thought that one might catch people out, but that's probably the quickest one to be answered. Okay, so that's the end of the questions. Recent progress. So I looked back at the last year or so, just looked at some of the release stats and some of the contributor and review stats just to see did anything interesting jump out. There were a couple of interesting things. So I looked at contributing companies and organizations, and the top 3 are what the top 3 always are. It's Intel, NVIDIA, Marvell, no surprises there. But when you look at kind of contributing companies and organizations, number 4 was a surprise to me. So does anybody know what, and there's no prize for this, does anybody know what number 4 was? No. Stephen. Network plumber. Stephen Heminger. So when you look at that, and to me that was amazing, when you look at the top contributing organizations and companies, number 4 is an individual. So we used to, in some of these summits previously, do some community awards, and it was only when I saw this that I thought that's something that we should reinstitute, because that's an incredible achievement. And the rest of the top 10 are pretty much as you'd expect, the usual suspects. So then I looked at reviewers, and Thomas, when he sends out his release email, always lists the non-PMD reviews. So that's what I did. I totted those up for 2403 to 2503. So anybody guess who the top reviewer was? Bruce? No. Morton. I think. So well done, Morton. Bruce is only number 3. I think think I have a recollection of doing these numbers before and Bruce was top, so you're slipping. You're headed in the wrong direction, Bruce. But this is important because, you know, everybody is concerned about their own patches. These are people who are reviewing other people's patches. So it's not their job to implement that change. It's not their job to get it in, but they're taking the time and the effort to review and act other people's patches. So it's an important thing. And UNH Community Lab, we have Patrick here. So anybody with any questions on the lab should take the opportunity to get some time with Patrick. We need to make sure, I mean, the lab is doing a great job. You can see from the stats there. We had a meeting between the governing board and the tech board last night, and everybody was very complimentary about the work that's being done in the lab, the benefits that it gives, the fact that it helps catch a lot of issues much earlier than we would otherwise do so. But if you have any thoughts on other things that we could or should be running in the lab to try to catch even more issues, Patrick is the first point of contact. If there's any cost implication, we can work that through the governing board. But we should definitely try and build on this as much as we can, maximize the benefits that we get from it. Okay. This is just an updated view of the hardware in the lab itself. So then, yeah, very final thing. We have another DPDK summit in Santa Clara in September, hosted at the Intel campus. I think the registration link is live now, is it, Nathan? It is. Yeah, so people can start to make plans, register. I think there's a block booking of hotel rooms as well available. So we'd encourage as many people as possible to attend.
We should have a CFP slide too with the QR code there and the
yes. Yeah. No, we'll do that. But yeah, the details will all be, if they're not already, they will all be up on the website shortly. And the only other thing to note about this is that the project DPDK will be 15 years old at this time. So we'll try and build in some kind of recognition, celebration of the 15-year milestone for DPDK. And that's it. So just thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoy the summit. And like I said, take the opportunity to talk to people in person, do a bit of networking, maximize the fact that you've gone to the trouble of traveling and being here in person. It's good to take advantage of that. It's good to connect with people like Patrick for the lab and lots of others that you wouldn't necessarily encounter on a day-to-day basis. So that's it for me. I think the next presentation, I believe, is Constantine and Francisco from Huawei talking about SO Ring.